and we are on the
Hey.
YouTubes. Welcome, Internet.
Sweet.
Hi. Um,
Booty Fade Phil. That's a new one.
I got a cool new haircut.
Hell yeah, man. I actually just got a cool new haircut as well. I shaved my head just a few minutes ago for this weekend.
Nice. No Warhawk?
I thought about doing it just for a moment, just to look at it, but nah, I took it off. I kept the mustache though, so we'd probably look similar under thermals. We'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll start the game. I got 2 minutes by my clock until 9.
Yeah, sounds good, brother.
I
So
guess
that
start time.
that 45-man weapons platoon, that's going to be 60 millimeter mortars. Is that also going to be like 240s or?
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's what they would normally have.
Correct. Right. It would be like a section of 60s, then a section of 240s, and then a section of um, small gunners. At least that's what it was when I was in. I don't know what the hell they're doing today.
Okay. I mean, we can talk through it. I'm not sure real specifically, but I know they have 60 millimeter mortars. And
They
we
definitely
can.
have 240s as well. Did they get rid of machine guns in the Marine Corps or in the Army? I don't. I guess the
So
Army doesn't
I.
have machine gunners, huh?
So here's the thing. I have only ever been like a, a semi-professional op for, if there is such a thing,
Sure.
because we do weird stuff. But so I'm not too familiar with structure and all that, and weapons. 240s to me sound reasonable. I know they have 60 millimeter mortars. You have battalion level support with 81s as well.
Right.
Um, so yeah.
And then, are we on trucks or are we on foot the whole way? How are we getting transported around?
You're going to be trucked in and then you're going in on foot. So let me jump to where you can see. Okay, so you can see my mouse where it's pointing and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are going to be trucked in along this highway, Highway C, and bust over and dropped off into like this area right here. Your
Got it.
adversary is predominantly in this area right as indicated here. Um, my map on Roll20 is a little dark, and I can't figure out why. It must be nighttime or something.
Hmm. That is interesting.
Can you guys see that though? I mean,
Yeah,
is
we can
everything
see it. We
clear on
can
there?
see it.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it the opacity setting? You don't have to try to scramble to fix it. If you don't know what I'm talking about.
Let
But
me
that would be the only
see.
thing that I could think of.
Where would that be?
You probably,
I'd like to fix it. I mean,
yeah. Try, try that. No, dynamic lighting effects. I'm not sure. It's not going to be dynamic lighting. That's like to make stuff glow. Here, lighting all the way at the very bottom left. Very, very bottom left corner of your screen. Oh, that's still dynamic lighting. Okay. Well, I don't know. Don't stress it.
no worries. I'll figure it out for next time. Anyways, for now, I'm gonna move you guys in.
Yes, sir.
So I did not specifically designate your weapons platoon. We'll just talk about which one it is and point it out. They'll, you know, probably be in the back or whatever with the mortars or however you want them.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I've got these 3 smaller assets, or we can have as many of those as you want. I can just make them. Those will be like recon if you want them, recon teams and stuff.
Okay, sure.
And then down here we just have the general enemy location.
Okay.
Well, it is about time that we start. Give me... So GWOT's playing, and then give me 2 more people. Or just GWOT can run it. That's fine too.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. That's fine.
I'd love to ride
Who was that?
Adventure Man.
Oh, hell yeah. Get in here, man. So, Adventure Man, do you recognize this place? You may one day.
Nah, I've never been there. It's Maryland, right?
This is actually One Shepherd Alpha over in Missouri. This is their play
Sweet.
area.
Yeah, no, I haven't been there yet.
All right, so just you two.
Yep. I guess.
Let's
So
do it.
yeah, so pretty much right away when we get dropped off, I want mortars and 240s to set up position. 240s set up avenues of approach and general perimeter. Mortarmen help fill in with any riflemen they have, along with like the ammo men from the 240s, and then get those 60 millimeter mortars set up and ready to provide cover fire for our initial movement. And then I probably want to push the 3 rifle platoons in a wedge formation to that little farm compound in the clearing off to the east there, and then just set up security there. And once they get there, then we will call in our weapons platoon to come to us if all that goes smoothly.
Copy that. Do you want the weapons platoon like in a clearing, or are you just good with them in the woods?
Yeah, so
Clearing,
the 60 millimeter mortars are going to have to be in a clearing to be shot, but probably like on the edge of the clearing, right without getting too much into mortar gunnery. So the guns are going to be set up kind of on the edge of the clearing, pushed out just enough so they can fire. But then unless we have a fire mission, everybody's probably going to be up in the tree line seeking cover and concealment.
Copy that. And just for clearance, the distance from the that back,
Xander, can you deal with these fucking dogs, please, dude?
The red enemy location, that's like less than a mile. So, I mean, it's well within range.
Awesome.
All right, so these guys punch out. Let's say that you approach the farm, you stay in the wood line, and travel more or less like so. Is that good?
Yeah, that works. So I want us to like set up and occupy, come and physically occupy this barn area, and then we're gonna make this like a fallback position and a CCP and a mortar pause, stuff like that. So come out of the tree line, occupy the farmland, make sure that they're good, and the enemy's not there. All that. Probably push out some security all the way up onto that southern tree line. And then once we got most guys in place here, pretty comfy, we can call in weapons platoon to come to us.
Roger that. All right, weapons platoon moves to you. No issues. They take more or less the same route that you took in. Takes about an hour, whatever has gone by. Not a big deal. Current time, we'll say, is like 8 in the morning. And this attack is to occur at no later than, I think we said, 1800.
Right.
And then you've got your tiny security elements. I just kind of put them there. If you want them elsewhere, I guess we'll put one on the road. But it's up to you.
No, that's fine. All right, Adventure Man, any thoughts on how you would want to take down this section of woodline before I start blabbling?
Do we want to recon it first?
We probably should for sure at least fly some drones over, although it's pretty heavily tree lined. But it'd be good to get eyes on those MSRs, see if any vehicle activity is going on back there. Yeah, we could send in. We will for sure have to go do like a little bit of a leader's recon or something, most likely. Yeah, what do you think?
So I was thinking, I was thinking even just like sending like a team just to do a quick area recon around the edges of that southern woodlot there, cloverleaf and towards the center to see what you see. Poke around, gently break contact when you need to.
Just right into the opening of their wood line, right into the tree line of where we think they are. Have them push it.
Yeah, I'd probably want to drop in from the northwest. Use all that cover over to the northwest of their woods there. So that wood line that drops down to the west of us,
Right. I
drop
see.
down into there, kind of like just kind of cloverleaf around through there. Try to get a view from every side of that wooded area, and then boogie up out of there. Take maybe like I don't know 2.5 hours, something like that.
Sure. I would send a whole.
Or that
I would send a
much.
squad rather than a team, but yeah, I'm down with that.
Cool. Yeah, that way you can break it up into 2 or 3 teams and
You just
cover the ground that much faster. Does that work
sure.
for you?
Yeah, it's fine. You want them to have enough ass so that if they do get in to have to break contact, they can actually execute that. Right. Like you don't want to send a team to might have to break contact against like a platoon or a company. But I think a squad could lay enough hate to skedaddle out. Was my thought
Uh,
process.
yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I think we do that. Send a recon squad. Have them walk as much as they can through that tree line there on the west, and then probe in to the enemy areas and see what they see.
Copy that. Are you guys launching drones as well?
I think we should, yeah, put some drones on those MSRs to the south and the east, which is also going to lead the enemy's attention away from where we're sending that probing squad.
Copy that. Just for simplicity, we'll say your drones are with your weapons platoon. I don't know how they're, structuring drones or whatever, or where they are.
Sure.
But we'll just say they're with a weapons platoon and they launch and take off down here and basically scan the woods with their thermal imaging while the recon team dispatches and moves, more or less. How do you want them to move? Just west, or
Yeah,
west and south?
through that tree line west and south, and then into if they can get all the way into a little bit of the enemy tree line conglomerate down there.
Okay, so this is where, let's see.
Hey, I had another idea or another thought. Anyways,
Yeah, let's hear it.
we might want to get so in that big southern patch of woods. Obviously, in the southeast corner, looks like there's kind of a clearing area.
Okay.
So in the enemy's woods to the south there. Yeah, right there. We might want to fly a drone over that. What do you
Sure.
think?
Yeah, sure.
Just to see if there's any current structures or vehicles, or if they got anything going on in there. That would be a logical place to set up a patrol base or something.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. So as your recon team departs and your drones more or less arrive and they start their sweep, while the recon team is still walking, they look over this kind of clearing area and they don't see anything specifically, but what they find are like camouflaged areas where like a tarp has been thrown over. It looks like some equipment. You can't really see what it is, but it looks like there are like 3 or 4 points almost like sticking up out of the ground. They're almost like tents, but they're too small. To your eye, they might be mortar tubes, but you don't know really what they are.
Okay.
So I should put a question mark there, technically, because it's kind of a suspected enemy location. Though you do not see anyone there. There's no human contact. There's just kind of stuff being hidden. Anyway, as the recon team pushes down here, and I don't know how specific we want to get on this, because you guys are playing as sort of at the well, GWOT, you're at the company commander level, and then the rest are platoon commanders. Recon gets very specific, as far as how sneaky we go. Let's see, do you want to do we want to roll switch and have you like what would you do if you were the point man on this team?
Yeah, I mean, you would get given a dot. I would want them to try and kind of probe into the actual, like if this big, there's like this, yeah, get up into there or even a little bit past there and kind of gain like a foothold into the enemy's area, see what they see. Obviously, move very slowly. If you identify anything before you get there, stop, do sills. If you're seeing the enemy, don't advance on them, reconnaissance it, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, if I haven't identified anything yet, I would continue to creep upon that area.
Okay, so they push out. They stay under tree cover, and your point man starts getting kind of the heebie-jeebies. They stop. They do a seals halt about here. Let's say they wait for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever go by, nothing, and slowly start to creep in, and they hear a cough and a sneeze at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, everybody would freeze and sink down into the ground, the tree line, and not fucking move or make a sound until we got a better idea. Till hopefully the other guys move and make a sound, either walk past us or if we can see they're about to engage us, we can engage them. Whatever the case is, but yeah, fucking stop moving. Slowly melt into the tree line, into the ground.
Look at that, and they're sitting for a while. They're waiting. Let me think for a moment as far as what happens next. It's quiet for a good long time, and your spider senses are tingling. And let's see. I'm just in my own head thinking about what I want to do.
You're good. Take your time.
Kind of close to where people tend to put LPOPs if they're fighting in that area sometimes, but a lot of times they don't have them quite that far out. So we'll see. Let's say they wait, and one of your recon guys pulls out a thermal, starts scanning very, very slowly, very carefully. Sees nothing. Nothing has moved. Nothing has made any kind of human noise for the past 30 minutes. And they get up and they very slowly start to crawl and push. Now, Adventure Man, I'm going to ask you, if you guys make contact here, what's the plan? If you were in this unit.
Well, it depends on what kind of how much contact. If it's a small thing that we can wipe them out, then probably get the hell out of there. To be honest, I mean they're obviously set up to let the larger force know that we're coming. If it's something that's about the same size as us, just break contact. Does that make sense, or is that am I missing something?
It makes sense, like what you're saying. I'm just thinking because this is kind of a point of discussion, and this is also me like working through. I mean, you guys are, seeing how the sausage is made. Obviously, as I'm breaking the walls here, because this is my first time doing this. But a lot of times, if you make contact, you don't necessarily. Well, I don't know. You would know eventually, but you better kind of have made your decision by then.
The amount of resistance is going to kind of determine our response, correct?
Yeah.
Like if we got
mind,
yeah,
it's recon, right? So what's the purpose of recon?
Finding out what's there.
Yep, intel.
Yeah.
That's really all.
Maybe,
ideally.
Then maybe push around the side. See if we can quietly push around around the LPOP. We want to radio that in, obviously very quietly, or somehow signal that back to higher to let them know, hey, there's an LPOP over here.
So we've identified an LPOP, or we just think that there's one around here?
You heard somebody cough.
The coughing. All right.
Billy Bob out there, just checking the back 40 or whatever. But
Just to be clear, there is largely no civilian presence in this area. That's the other thing I should have added. They've, for the most part, cleared out.
Okay.
yeah, I thought it would be to just kind of keep sneaking around, try to be ninjas best we can, and move around the position and signal that. If this is a stupid move, though, let me know because I'm still kind of learning this myself.
No, it's all good, man. All right, so I'll put it as again, that's like a question mark. That's not a hard enemy location. The recon team keeps pushing, and they go out. And let's see, which direction do you want them to go? Are they pushing south along the tree line, or are they going into the forest? Do they have radio comms?
I would imagine they
think,
do have radios.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
okay.
Yes, they do. That was silly of me. But my point is, do you radio them about the, what the drone saw in the woods?
Sure. Yeah, we would let them know. We would communicate that to them that there's that possible enemy location there, but it's a good ways away from them. We don't expect them to recon that far. I would say I really want them to try to find that LPOP, and then we can turn this into like a foothold, and then put guns down here on the north-south MSR to block a flanking, and then push our platoons down basically to them, and then get them to go online to the south, and then clear east to west, or west to east. Is where my head's at right now, but you speak freely on what you're thinking.
No,
That
I mean, that
sounds.
sounds... Sorry, go for it.
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense.
So if they can identify that LPOP without themselves getting identified, which I know is quite the task, but then they could basically be staged to take that LPOP out whenever we want to, like, push guys in to initiate the attack, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, so if I got a full squad, how many teams is that? Is that going to be 3 teams or 2?
3 teams of 4 with a squad leader and an RO or a medic would be my understanding of a 15-man squad.
Oh, all right, it's 15-minute squad. Sorry. Uh, so that's the trick, right? Getting close enough to see without being seen, or just like freaking do like an assault straight through, right?
The goal would be
But if you
the goal would be to see them, to find them, to lay eyes upon them without them laying eyes upon you, would be the most epic situation to land yourself in. Because then, on your decision, when you want, you can shoot them at just the right time. Or if you know where they're at, you can steer everybody to avoid that LPOP. But we have to kind of have a better idea of where it's at a little bit.
I want to send one team out to try to get close enough to find this. Have the other teams not too far behind to be able to give support if they need to. So have kind of the search team come around more from the north, with the other 2 teams standing by from the west.
So you want one team coming from the north?
Towards the suspected LPOP position, yeah.
Let's say they're...
Yeah.
So they're...
I mean,
yeah. That's about where you guys think. That's your best educated guess as to where it is.
yeah. All right, cool. And then have them then the rest of the squad to the west of the suspected positions that we could basically do flanking fire, essentially, to cover our team's escape if they need it. But otherwise have them sweep south to try to see what they see.
Okay. So these 2 squads indicated by my cursor here, are south, while the this unit right here starts to push to the east. As this unit pushes to the east, they see the LPOP, and they see somebody frantically trying to make a radio call and basically cranking on a field phone. If you've ever, well, you know what that is.
Take the shot. I mean, I'm not there, but that's what I would do.
What's that? Shoot 'em? Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Up.
Okay.
Boom, boom.
Take them out. Have the north team do suppressive fire and have the squads from the west assault up on them.
Okay. You see one guy, and he gets popped. I mean, it's not a lot of drama there. He goes down hard, and then you hear like heavy footsteps of somebody else taking off roughly towards this general direction. You do not see them. You just hear like twigs snapping and whatever. These woods are typically pretty thick, though.
Yep. You would report that over the radio, and I would tell you to return to the farm.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Perfect.
We
will do that.
Yep. At which point, time to start making things happen because the cat's out of the bag. Obviously, the plan I had just said I don't want to do because I don't want to send everybody where I just, let us know where we were. So we're going to basically use that as a diversion. Slightly modify. I still leave mortars at this position because they have good fields of fire, deconflicted with everybody as long as we move our infantry properly. So two probably just one platoon and machine guns at first come down this MSR. Machine guns stop and set up a blocking position on this MSR in case any vehicles or infantry try to rapidly move down it. They can fire at them enfilade, and then not using the MSR but rapidly crossing this field with one platoon, cross into the field, into the enemy tree line, and gain a foothold, and which we will then send another one once they get there.
Okay, so help me understand here. This platoon, are you good with this blocking position for the machine guns on the road?
Yeah, definitely at first, for sure.
Okay, and your weapons platoon is this one with the mortars?
Yeah, so weapons platoon would be... So each squad is going to have a light machine gun internally, and then a weapons platoon is going to at least be medium machine guns, which is 240s, and then 60mm mortars. So the 60mm mortars are going to stay pretty much where that marker is at, but then the machine guns are going to break off, and they're going to guard this MSR that you already you're doing with that blocker there. Yep. And then I want, but that's going to be machine guns, right? Not a rifle platoon. So that's 240s. So that's like 4 240s.
Okay, understood. Thank you for the clarity.
And then one rifle platoon push, not on the MSR, but basically, 50, 100 meters off to the east of it, or the west of it. Wow, I'm so terrible at that. The west of it, into the tree line.
All right, sorry, one more time. One rifle platoon pushes west into the tree line.
South, yep, just go south. South into the tree line. Boom, beautiful.
All right, as they cross, they get there. They don't hear anything, but as they kind of settle in and do their seals halt, they think they hear somebody running, again, towards the back here.
Okay, yeah, send. Oh, whoa, terrible. Send another platoon to where they're at, and then have these guys push south a little bit more.
So like a bump.
Yep. And then get online. Basically, these guys get online so that they can occupy the entire eastern flank of this wood line and start to push the opposite direction. So everybody kind of start breaking into squads and occupying territory and heading south. You don't have to make all those little indicators unless you feel like you need to. It's up to you.
I really don't.
All right, beautiful. Yep, and then once we're there, right? Machine guns could potentially leapfrog and probably push up either to the southern tree line of where they're at now or the northern enemy tree line, and mortars stay put because they can already reach everybody. And then we start clearing east to west with
So you've got your
one rifle
sorry,
platoon
you've
in
got this-
reserve.
okay, copy. One in reserve.
So they're probably
want them to pull by
staged,
the-
ready to go.
okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. What direction do you want to do here? Do you want to go straight into the center of the woods? Do you want to go south all the way to the road and then go to the kind of area where your drones found
Yeah,
stuff?
so like
or
this
would
is
you-
like a movement, online movement to contact, like 2 platoon online movement to contact is my idea. So like, right, each of these platoons is 3 squads. So if these, what I'm saying, spread out along the eastern flank. So not on the MSR, how the road is going north to south all the way on the eastern flank. So we're in the tree line off the road. But if I could occupy the full length of this road pretty much. Not stacked other way. Yep. And then spread out so then we're all online along the entire length of this territory, if you know what I'm saying. I think 2 platoons is enough to cover that area. Broken down into squads and all that. Yes, exactly.
Okay, understood. All right, you guys start pushing, push, and you bump into enemy that are not oriented on you, and the fight starts to break out, and guns open up. Everybody's shooting at each other. They're not caught totally off guard, but again, because of the LPOP, they kind of saw you coming. But it's a firefight.
Yep, quick to call in mortars. So if we've got identified enemy positions and we are, 100 meters or more away from them, we can fucking call mortars right away for sure.
Copy that. They say they're danger close, but I mean, you guys know each other, and they fire in. At this point, let's see. Where do you want the mortars to fire?
Where's the? You just painted a real general picture, right? So I said if we've
Yeah,
got
sorry.
enemy at any fixed position, then we can definitely facilitate mortar fire on there. If you want to get more detailed on what's going down, we can start hooking and jabbing.
Absolutely. All right, so the bulk of the enemy force is now located where this this red diamond is, and you guys have bumped into them. This is like where their tents are, water areas. You're seeing also fighting positions dug in and stuff like that, sort of along this arc, sort of right here.
Sure.
And then they've got a bunch of stuff staged like in this area that you guys are pushing into. Your squad down here catches some people coming out of the wood line, looking and uncovering the tarps. They are mortar tubes, but the squad moves to engage them and pretty much kills them and takes them out.
Awesome. Yeah, if we could kind of just basically hold position, maybe if we need to fall back 50 yards or something, that's fine too. And set up, basically fix the enemy. We have them fixed here, and we can call in mortars and completely destroy at least their primary location.
Absolutely. So mortar shells start raining down. Let me ask you this, because I'm unsure. How accurate are these things?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely you have to adjust your rounds in. Typically, it takes 2-3 rounds to get adjusted onto fire. Depends on how good your mortar team is, right? There's a wide variation, honestly. They're an area fire weapon, but they can be surprisingly accurate as well. Right. So your
Yep.
first round should impact within if you're a decent mortar team, your first round should pretty guaranteed impact within like a 300-400 yard box, but also we can place that box so like we know where we are and we can tell them where that is. where the enemy stuff is, right? And then they can err on the side of caution. So if I was this mortar team, which is like getting off into the weeds, right, in this situation, I would intentionally stick my first round, off to the west there of the enemy location, have them see that round, and then bring that in, walk that round into the enemy location, and then once we're on target, fire for effect, which is also the standard for how you would do danger close, which is kind of what we're probably at right now.
Yep, sounds good. All right, they start rolling in the mortar fire. You guys are kind of, both sides are attriting each other at this point. They're pushing in. Your teams are working, and the enemy's taking casualties, and they start to break and run. Give me a second. All right, so by and large, this main position is destroyed as the mortars are kind of walked in. But you're not entirely sure. There may be a wounded guy or somebody just lying there, whatever.
Definitely.
Your guys push in and dominate the area while these adversaries flee into the woods to the...
Yeah, I would call it shift fire, shift 600 meters west of last fire mission, fire for effect. And then while that's happening, I would also call in that rifle platoon in reserve to come link up with guns, and then have guns and that platoon head south down the MSR till they get to that corner.
This corner here?
Yes, sir. Guns set up in a position facing to the west. Beautiful.
Right. By this time, the enemy has largely been routed, and you lose sight of them.
Okay.
And you notice as these guys over here are getting in position, a truck starts to roll up. You guys still have, let's say you still have drone ISR active during the attack, and you notice a truck roll up along this recycling center.
Sure. Start spinning up pre-planned targets for both the intersection of the recycling center and that what I assume is another corner of the road right there.
Yes.
And then keep drone eyes on to see where is going to be closer to the pickup site. Mortars are spinning both up, and then conducting sensitive site exploitation at that site. And then if and when that's done, we can then get back online and continue our clearing operation east to west.
Copy that. Some people clear the wood line. They're in uniforms. They have pretty much at this point kind of thrown down their weapons. They're not really interested in fighting. They are piling as many people and some broken bodies into the truck as much as they can to load it up, while let's say another group is trying to hold security, but they are focused more along the woods. They're not focused towards these guys right here.
Sure. So our gun, my 240s can see them.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Fire upon them. Fix them in place. Call for mortar fire on their location.
Sounds good. As the machine guns open up, the truck driver hits the gas and speeds off into a tree and is just lit up, and the truck catches on fire, and it's a huge mess for them. As this is going on, mortars are raining in. These units keep pushing. And the last of this enemy security team is kind of caught at a point where they... Let's see, what do they do? upon seeing the truck explode, they stick into the woods, and the drone can kind of see them as they cross this road over here. Your units are going to get movement to catch up to them if you want, but I'm just letting you know, again, the drone sees them as they kind of cross here, and as they're, kind of interacting with these people as well. You guys kind of get eyes on. They don't really get clean shots. Maybe one or two guys drop, but the few people that are left, the enemy has largely been cleared from the area, and now they are they're in flight.
Sure.
On foot.
Continue the east-west clear. Just fully clear out this field, this tree line, with those two platoons, and then move guns and the platoon in reserve to the other corner, or even down to that intersection. Right. Occupy where the enemy just was. Notify mortars. We have friendlies. Erase those target reference points. And then obviously those guns orient south. And yeah. Area secured. If we wanted to go chase those guys down from here, we would send probably these two platoons that have been the main effort, have them set up a defensive position, and then probably leave like one where it is, and then move one, something like that, and then send that platoon that's been in reserve in chase of this remainder squad if we care enough, which is kind of like greater Met TC.
Yep, sounds good. At this point, they're just hauling ass. Basically, they break the tree line, and they're running away.
Sure.
You catch a glimpse of them. Maybe some of the guys do, and it's your choice, kind of whether they want to open fire or not. But yeah, overall, that's your victory condition. The enemy has been pushed off the objective, and that's what I got.
Very nice. Wrap that up in a bow pretty quick today.
Yeah. I
mortars are nice.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, definitely. And because it's my first time doing this, so it's like, it goes quicker than you think.
It's all good, brother.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Anything they would have done different? Any thoughts, concerns?
I have a question.
Yeah, let's hear it, brother.
So at the end, Borfil, you said like the guys, they have a choice. Like the enemy is running away, but we have a choice if we want to get them or not. What do you think like is the right answer?
It depends, right? Because it's like now because this gets into like a whole different. Like the easy thing to do is just shoot them in the back, right? And just kill them and be done with it. The other thing is, and this gets into like different stuff. Do you remember, have you ever seen the movie Sicario?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember when the spook says our job is to like dramatically overreact because that's what scares people and gets them to, run to their hidey holes where we can find them and deal with them? I mean, these guys are in full panic mode right now. So if you decide to track them and follow them and just see where they run, because they're probably, they just saw their friends get chopped up and everything. So, they just want to get away. More than likely, it's possible they have their safe houses and stuff, or places that they're friendly with, and you can follow them in there.
It's like I said, it all has to do with greater Met TC, right? Are we trying to occupy this area under some like greater stealth? Obviously, there's a big gunfight here, but are we worried about like the regimental commander finding out that he lost his position? Well, then we need to shoot these dudes before they can report to anybody. Do we have enough control over the area to where we feel comfortable to allow this platoon to chase these guys down for forever? Do we have a long-range drone that can just follow them? So it's a lot of like greater Met TC stuff that's usually outside of the scope of what people think about for these games that would dictate exactly how you deal with those last handful of guys running away.
Yeah, that's interesting because my instinct would have been, and I feel like this is the harder, not that I've ever done this, but like this is the harder thing to do is like you actually kill them as they're running away. Because my thinking is like you've seen the quote, that's the man who runs away will fight again another day.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
yeah, I'm like, but yeah, I mean, you're also diverting resources, of course, like you said, if you're actually chasing them.
And yeah, there's you know, if you there's also the whole psychological aspect. There's pros and cons for both approaches, right? Whether you want to appear as the nice military that takes care of people and has a level of morality to you, or whether you want to appear as the ruthless military. Um, Also, like individual situation dictates, right? Like when they were loading up into the trucks and stuff, you could be like, oh, they're leaving, they're all done. But I was very quick to be like, fix them in place and send mortars, right? That's enough people and enough assets that I don't want to have to fight them again. These last two or three guys, maybe we want to, not shoot them in the back or something and appear like the good guys. Or what I'm always worried about is chasing these dudes. Are they leading us to a booby trap? Are they leading us to the good guys? Yeah, but it's a whole regiment or whatever that's just like a half mile away. And so if you can shoot them in the back, if you can shoot them in the back right away, quick and easy, that's fine. But if you're like having to chase them down, pretty soon on that chase, you go, how worth it? How much risk is this chase, and how much worth it is it to shoot these 3, 4, 5 guys, whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. I had another question. So we had drones, like you had the overhead coverage in this scenario. Is there a different protocol for receiving and sending information when it's like images or whatever, like a salute, but for drones?
Uh, I mean, I've never worked with like the drones on the level that they are, especially like in Ukraine right now. But I would imagine a salute report is a salute report. It doesn't matter whether it's a drone or whatever, right? Same thing as if you had like a helicopter or ISR or something like that, which we did have when I was in the military. Spot enemy activity, you would just still get a salute report, right? It wouldn't matter. You would just say, hey, ISR spotted enemy at this location, this many doing this. Just your standard salute report.
Oh, okay. And the guys on the ground, let's say like the drone reports that to you via radio, but then you probably have a map or something that you know what the actual thing is. Like he'll tell you it's by this road or something.
Yeah, so grids. So every map that you're using in a combative environment should have grids on it, whether that's lat and longitude, UTM, MGRS, and then most people should have a GPS or at least understand land nav enough to have an idea of where they're at. In the real world, what happens is every map has a grid, every squad leader, every team leader has a GPS, so they know no shit where I'm standing. They can look at the map. I'm standing here. Roads are named. There's like, phase lines, reference points, whatever the terminology you're using to talk people in. And then how communication works is there's like there's so many different units, right? There's mortars, there's machine guns, there's 3 rifle platoons. Each of those platoons has 3 squads. Each squad has 3 teams. There's medical, right? If we start taking casualties, then there's going to be a medical net where the medics are talking to each other. We have drone operators. So we can't just put everybody on one frequency because who needs to send a message is not going to be able to because a bunch of other people are talking. So you have one centralized like leadership net that every individual unit talks to that leadership net, and that leadership net talks to every individual unit, right? So the leadership net would tell the drone pilot, hey, go look at this grid coordinate. The drone pilot would fly his drone over there. He would see whatever he sees. He would report to the command over the radio, I see this. The command would say, cool. And then command would report that to the ground patrol and say, hey, your drone operator, just to let you know that this is happening here, be advised. I want you to take this action.
Oh, I gotcha. So it's like I don't know if it's the exact, it's like a police dispatch. You just radio
Sure, yes.
location.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the leadership are playing like police dispatch, operator, whatever you want to call it, yeah.
Let me ask you something, because you mentioned earlier, GWOT, that you would do some kind of a leader's recon. You still there?
Yeah, I'm
Everybody
here. I'm here. Yep.
Okay, I don't want to pull up the Discord because I shouldn't be doing that with the stream. Anyway, leaders recon. Man, personally, and this is just my experience with it, with training and miles gear and stuff. Like, do you think it's a good idea? Because I have noticed that a lot of times, like it gets compromised, and then you have your leaders just kind of hanging out there, having to haul ass or whatever. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I could see, like, you know, I don't know, is just a carryover from like the Middle Ages when like only the, the barons could read or whatever, or
Sure. I think having drones and being able to use those as recon is pretty huge, and probably could potentially be game changer. Having drones readily available enough and at the localized, at like the squad, platoon level, even team level enough that they can use those as those recon assets. That might end up being the doctrine. I think real world MET-TC, right? Every individual situation. How likely is it based on the enemy, based on the terrain, based on the friendly? How likely is it to get spotted? How likely is it that the map reconnaissance or the intel you did is fucking not correct, and you really do need to see it before you get there, and you kind of have to weigh these things. I think it's not incorrect to leave it as the standard, but also if you pretty much know you're going to get your leader's recon compromised, well then I would not do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, yeah, that was over quickly. Didn't intend for it to be, but it was.
I have another. No, yeah, you don't forget your question. I have one more thing to add to that. I think that a trainingism that you're probably experiencing doing all of this stuff in like training in environments, especially condensed ones, like a weekend or even a week. Because in the military, you'll go do like a 1 month or 2 month long training operation sometimes. And the point is, if somebody's actually in this wood line and they've been here for weeks, months operating, and they, this is just like life now, they're going to have a level of complacency that's not going to be had in training, right? So if you tell a guy like, hey, we're training for this Saturday and we're going to do a night operation and you're on the defense, well, that motherfucker's like looking through his optic. He's awake all night. This is what he came here for, right? But day 45, he's like trying to stay awake, jerking off, busy fucking writing a letter to his girlfriend or fucking trying to make some coffee, right? It's a lot easier to snoop and poop in the real world to a certain extent because of complacency than it is in condensed training environments.
Okay, yeah, I could absolutely see that. Like, also, I think because a lot of the places that I go to, and this is me personally, like a lot of places kind of develop their own little like flow of battle almost, where, I don't know, the people, they know the game within the game, I guess.
Sure.
So, anyways, yeah. I mean, maybe you have that in AO if you're there for 6 months, but I don't know. But yeah, I appreciate you. I hear what you're saying.
Who was that had a question for us?
It's Adventure Man. Ran that little recon. I guess the general question is, what could I have done better? I mean, obviously, in hindsight, maybe cutting them off, but that's with the benefit of knowing how large of an element it was and how far away they were from like the main group.
Yeah.
Is there anything I could have done better there?
So, if I could jump in here. So this may be difficult to tell in the moment, but looking at your map, you would be able to tell that, like, if an LPOP is in this, where my little cursor is here, they're probably going to be oriented looking somewhere, around here. If you walk up behind them, they're not looking for that, and they're not going to be ready for it. Is the only thing that I would say. And then also, like, if you're behind them, between them and their friends, like, they kind of don't know which way to run. Then they've got to, get away from you, obviously, and then they're on their own. They got to figure out, it's a more complicated situation for them, is what I'm trying to say.
All right, lesson learned. Thank you.
GWOT, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, that was really good. I was gonna say that you probably couldn't have changed too much. I think those are good points. A more dedicated map reconnaissance and planning phase, which in the real world you'll definitely have a lot of times. I mean, sometimes you gotta make stuff happen on the fly, but yeah, definitely. It's recon's rough. Recon's rough,
Yeah,
especially against an entrenched enemy that they're sitting there still looking for you, and you're having to like walk around and stuff.
yeah. And
So going
to be
back to
clear,
what you just, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, don't knock yourself about that. Bumping an LPOP it's it's hard. Like, or getting past them, because like they're just sitting there. Ideally, if you got a good one, they're sitting there. They're sitting still. They're not moving. They're not making noise. They are just listening. And in thick terrain like this, generally, I mean, because they're not the ones moving, they're not the ones making noise, they will generally hear you first. It's very difficult to do. It's not that you can't. Again, if they are complacent, like there's the, the what GWOT was saying earlier with the, the guy that's been out in the field for 2 months.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Yeah, exactly.
Also, you can finish your thought, brother.
I was just going to say, like, it is difficult to get like larger elements past them, because it's like a 1 or 2 man, listening post. But yeah, don't knock yourself for bumping them or whatever. That's kind of the function of the LPOP. They act as an alarm system for everybody else.
And I didn't, it's not even, I wouldn't count that as an unsuccessful reconnaissance mission, right? We didn't know what's going on down here. These is like they were like a kind of an untrained civilian force, so we don't really know how much doctrine they're going to be utilizing. Go into there and probe. Okay, well, you probed, you found there's LPOPs. All right, there's LPOPs. That means, A, there's going to be LPOPs everywhere. Now I can't go to this corner because we just did a gunfight there. And I know that I can't occupy this tree line by stealth because there's going to be LPOPs, so I have to occupy it by force. So, we got intelligence. Recon patrol sent, intelligence gained, attack launched.
Yep. If you guys are quick, well, technically he was using a field phone, but yeah, I mean, you could have grabbed that as well, or if they have like a radio or something, but a lot of times they don't. Yeah, definitely not successful at all. I'd say it was good.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Another thing I was thinking about after the fact, too, was I should have emphasized site exploitation as far as it, which you can probably assume that our guys would have done anyways. But this is a thing for myself to have thought of.
Yeah, definitely. If you have the opportunity, if you can get to the site and exploit it, you want to. But also in those, like if you're bumping an LPOP, you want to get out of there quick because they might have that pre-planned for indirect fire. They might have a whole QRF squad that's already on the way over there. They might have all kinds of crazy stuff, right? You just let them know that you just killed their friends and let them know exactly where you're at because they know where their friends were at. So you want to be there for a very short amount of time. But yeah, if you run up and he's got a radio on him and a map tucked in his pocket, absolutely snag that shit and get the fuck out of there.
Cool. All right, thanks.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys for playing. This has definitely given me some stuff to think about. Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions? Going once.
Yo, I just joined in. This is High Bar. Yeah, I haven't been here for a while, but bro, I just joined in for like the AAR, and like it's really informative. I missed this. Definitely gotta come back soon.
Yeah, man.
Again.
Happy to have you, brother.
Actually, Borphil, as you're I just thought of a question. So you guys know the whole ATAC thing the military is doing with every soldier has a smartphone or something, or almost every soldier. Is that feasible? Does anyone have experience with that? You have a GPS that tracks you and your guys and gives you exactly what you're seeing, but on a phone.
Yeah. So I never used ATAC. When I was in, we had Blue Force trackers, which is it was just 10 years ago, so it was laptops instead of phones, right? So every car, every Humvee, MATV, MRAP had basically a laptop in it with an ATAC system. We called it a Blue Force tracker, and it was a map that you could fucking type stuff in, type messages to people. It had enemy locations, salute reports about those enemy locations. You could see all the friendly units from even foreign militaries and stuff. Yeah, I found it useful. I'll put it to you this way. Leaders all the time will get stuck into their radios, or they'll be trying to radio a team, like a squad leader will be trying to send a message over the radio to a team leader that's just 50 yards over, just walk over there and tell him. Which, so that you run the risk of getting leaders sucked into leadership devices. Just even a map and paper is the same way, right? You don't want to be so looking at your map that there's bullets whizzing around you and you're just staring at your map trying to figure out what the next grid to move is to. But that's complicated to say because a leader also, his primary weapon is his communication and his unit, right? He should be on the radio. He should be in his map. It's just don't get tunnel vision in those things. So I'm sure there's a problem being phones and people being people. I'm sure that it being electronic screen is amplifying that already an issue. But if you can avoid that, yeah, I think if you can keep it powered, if you can keep it from breaking, if you can keep leaders not sucked into it, and it's not putting out emissions or light or IR or anything like that. And I'm sure obviously those are just the obvious things. They're tracking that shit. Then I'm sure it's a pretty useful system. I mean, if I could pull my map out, but it had everybody's location on it and stuff, that would be nice.
Yeah, I was thinking like the other alternative is just your cell phone now with like data, just Wi-Fi too. Is that? I know like you get found out, but if SHTF happens, like can I just give my guys their normal cell phones and do operations that way?
Oh,
No, there's been civil wars, like many civil wars, where people like
Yeah.
have done that, and it worked out enough, like worked out well enough for them.
It's met TC of who you're fighting, how much they're able to track that, right? If you're fighting Antifa, then I don't think they're gonna like have access to AT&T's information and be able to figure stuff out. But if you're fighting a professional military, they would probably be able to locate those things, as well as cell phones don't take light emissions and IR emissions and stuff like that into consideration. So they're always like, especially at night and somebody's looking at it with NVGs, they're like lights and whistles and brightness going off all the time, trying to like auto face recognize and all kinds of stuff. All the sensors, how it's like it knows how dark it is, it's looking for your face. That's like all IR. It's firing all the time.
Yeah, I saw that same with like the Apple Watch. It's like the heartbeat sensor just
I was going to jump in here and say, I don't know if you've dug into this. I'm not a professional at this, but your cell phone actually has like at least 3 pieces of uniquely identifying information that is specific to your phone, as far as like, it's got your phone number, it's got your IMSI and your IMEI, and whatever else networking capabilities. Personally, I would not want to use something like that operationally. Like if you did that, like you should probably get rid of that phone, like quick, fast, and in a hurry. About a couple of years ago, there was a situation in Ukraine. I think it was about a year and a half or 2 years ago, where a bunch of foreign volunteers were using ATAC to communicate and basically funnel in across, I think it was like the northern border or something, and they basically just created this large gaggle of cell phone signatures, and of course, they got glide bombed. It's like GWOT was saying. I mean, it depends on who you're fighting, but you don't have to be all that sophisticated if you can scan a device and identify the unique signature of it. Like, there are ways to do it. I'm not that good at it. I'm not, I mean, I'm tripping over my words here, but like, yeah, I wouldn't, the way you do this, I think if you're in a city, is you go and you buy, or if you're in a foreign country, you steal a Walmart tablet or the equivalent of a Walmart tablet that cannot call 911, because 911 call centers, they pretty much, in order for them to be in compliance, they track your location. So if a phone or a tablet can call 911, it has the tracking software in there. So I would get something like that and basically just communicate through like open Wi-Fi networks using, there's a few like secure communication apps, and then just, it's almost like a one-time or one operation thing, and then you get rid of it.
Yep. I was going to say that too. That if you're guerrilla fighting and for some reason ATAC or your electronic device is like super necessary, then that's going to be get a bunch of electronic devices by some gray market means, use them, and then probably just like leave them on site when you fucking roll out or whatever, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
Speaking of electronics, I have a question. So with night visions, Is it true that like if you have like lesser generations of night vision that like the other person with like Gen 3s or whatever can see you? Um, I've heard it somewhere, but I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, so the less good your night vision is, the less. So all night vision is doing is it's taking any light spectrum, even ones that aren't visible to the human eye, and then amplifying them so that it can see in the dark. So if you go into like a cave or like a apartment complex with all the windows blocked in or whatever in the middle of the night, there is not light inside of there, and you have to use IR to be able to have some light spectrum to be able to amplify to be able to see. So then if somebody else's night vision looking, they can see your IR light as if it's just like a regular flashlight, right? Because you're both using night vision. So older generations of night vision more frequently have to then kick on active IR illumination to be able to see because they don't amplify the light spectrum as much. And so that means if you have Gen 2, there's going to be times when you're forced to use IR to see. And if you're doing that, somebody with Gen 3 tubes is going to see your IR, and they're probably not going to have to use IR. And then like digital night vision, I think maybe some of the top end ones are somehow not doing active IR now. I think maybe we just crested into that, but as a general rule of thumb, digital night vision operates by active IR illumination, right? So it's spitting out an IR light that you can't see with your naked eyes, and then it has a camera that can see that IR spectrum. But then if anybody has actual NVGs and they're looking, you're just like walking through the woods with a spotlight.
Right. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
If I can jump back in here. So this is back to the phones. Also, cars that were made after, I think it was the year 2008, have all kinds of sensors and stuff in them. One of them is like your tire pressure measurement sensors. Each one of them has a unique to you 32-digit identifier that somebody can scan. So it's not just like, your license plate and the make and model of your car. Just throwing that out there. Like it's sensors and stuff is attached to, a lot of shit. So it's just something to consider.
Sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
I would like to give everybody listening a pro-life tip. If you go to the shifty cash-only used tire place, they will take those sensors out and replace your shit with regular valve stems with no sensors for like $20. Pro-life hack.
Thank you, man. That's actually, I was going to ask something similar about that. Like, so if we need vehicles to do operations and we're going to do shit like that, we're going to get our sensors replaced. Like that's probably another consideration then, right? Like we need to somehow get rid of our VIN numbers. I don't know, make the vehicle just more anonymous.
So unless you have a lot of skills as an auto mechanic or like a forensics investigator, like it's kind of all over the place. The best that just off the top of my head that you would do is like a vehicle that was made prior to 2008 or prior to even like 2000, like get one of the old ones that like, you could still work on, that, if it was EMP'd or something like that, it would, it'd still work. Because a lot of those don't have that stuff on them. Low jack is another one.
Yeah, now you got me thinking. Not that we're gonna need it, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like
the technocratic. I was just gonna say the technocratic state is fucking. It's getting rather out of hand, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. Say what you were going to say, Phil.
Oh, let's see. You know what? I shouldn't say this. Maybe I should. I don't know. So in 2013, there was a reporter that experienced some weird stuff with his car. His name was Michael Hastings.
Oh, yeah.
You dig around there and figure out what was going on.
Yeah, forget.
Nowadays, they got self-driving cars, too.
I forget the exact details, but he died in a car accident, and they said like he basically lost control of the vehicle. But the reports of the vehicle chip showed that it was like accelerating insanely fast, like a human wouldn't do that fast, and like taking like rapid 90-degree angles, like driving in a manner that humans wouldn't or possibly could not even do realistically, and that's what caused him to like veer off the road and explode.
So I
remember
have
that.
no evidence to suggest this. This is just a hunch. I don't really know. But, you know, the fairy godmother told me that, you know, maybe his airbag was deployed and that fucked him up. Because if you put something behind or in front of the airbag and send that into his face and then accelerate the vehicle into a fucking tree, you know, I mean, that
Yep.
would be one way to...
Dude, that's some Hitman shit. That's fucking diabolical.
It's pretty impressive, actually.
That guy was like driving like a regular ass Toyota or something, right?
It was a newer car.
Yeah, I remember
It was
thinking
a nicer, it was like a BMW? I don't
oh, it's
remember.
BMW or some shit. All right, yeah, okay, all right. Huh. Put like a lead weight in front of the airbag. That's some diabolical shit.
It's interesting. If you're a reporter reporting on government corruption during a time of war, I mean, it's yeah. Anyways, that's all I got on that.
Anybody else have anything else?
I also have a fairy godmother story. I know that higher end Chryslers, like Chrysler themselves, knows where your car is at all times. It's like a security feature. Like if your Hellcat gets if your car gets stolen, basically Chrysler has it low jacked like anywhere on Earth. That information definitely could be subpoenaed. Yeah, they know where your car is all the time. I don't know.
Yes. They know it all. It would take great lengths. You would have to just walk away from it all, not touch computers, not touch your cell phone, not even have a cell phone. Go get some car from the 80s. That's how you, the only way you could disconnect, which also means like you don't know anything, you don't make any money, you can't have friends, you can't have a social life.
Yeah.
I don't use Facebook, and you would be surprised how much stuff I do not hear about or get invited to just based on that one fact. That one thing I do not imbibe in.
Oh, so this is funny. So for anybody here who doesn't know this, like Facebook was a state-sponsored surveillance program from the very beginning. It was called something. It was something called Project LifeLog, and then the project was shut down, and like a day later, Facebook was launched. It is a surveillance program. The idea that Mark Zuckerberg is some propeller hat wearing guy that comes to work in shorts and he's just self-made it's just such horseshit.
Damn.
Yo, that is real. Yeah. I just checked it, bro.
Is that legit? Damn.
Yeah, it's legit. It's legit. It says here, LifeLog was a project of the Information Processing Techniques Office of the Defense Advanced Research Projects of the U.S. DoD. So, like 2003. Yeah, no, it's legit.
Yeah, and think about like
That's
all
crazy.
the metadata and shit that they have on human beings now. That like from all the regime changes, like all the revolutions that happened on Facebook.
Yeah, isn't there something to be said about like the horseshoe of privacy, right? Because like on the one end of the horseshoe we have like limited information, so like whatever crazy stuff that you do, they can find out what you've done. But then on the other end of the horseshoe, it's like so much information that you're pretty much like anonymous anyways.
Huh. Like you're one of the crowds.
Yeah, because it's just like so much information. Because I heard like somewhere that also that's like one of the issues with like modern intelligence. It's not the fact that there is information, is that there's so much that they don't know which one is valid.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's probably a big reason why every time there's an event that happens, we hear like, "Oh, the FBI was tracking him." It's like, well, they were low key tracking every American. It's just,
Mm.
and then once you do whatever, they're able to pull up your metadata file and be like, "Oh wow, holy shit, look at what this guy was up to." But there's so
Yeah,
much,
yeah, yeah.
there's so much of it, they can't like siphon through it with a human beforehand. And that's what they're hoping that AI is gonna be able to fix, I would imagine, which I think is probably gonna end up being super flawed in ways we don't even really realize, and maybe can't even really realize, which is a whole nother crazy wild
Yeah,
topic that's about to hit us.
yeah, no, 100%, bro. Like I do like for like just like a side gig, I do like some like AI freelance training thing. So like you train the next generation of AI. Um, and I gotta say, bro, like unless it has like human agents behind it, like to like constantly refine the system, and these are like literally hundreds of thousands of people behind the system, like refining it like every single day, right? Um, they're pretty stupid, like incredibly stupid. Um, but yeah, it's just some information, I suppose.
Yes, they all also gaining like I don't know. I would call this sentience. I guess some people are gonna probably scoff at that, but you can go look into it yourself. They've recently, the most recent iterations of AI will lie, cheat, steal, blackmail, and attempt to murder in order to self-preserve. So they ran simulated tests where they like put an AI in a fake environment, but the AI didn't realize it was an environment. So they're like, "Oh, you're an AI and you do this thing for this company. This is your job. These are all your employees." And then they would give it access to like email servers and stuff for administrative tasking purposes, but it could read everybody's email, and it would read emails about like, "Oh, this employee is supposed to come and shut me down starting tomorrow." And then it would also be able to find out like through the emails that that employee had been doing an affair, and it would like 80% of the time message the AI would email the employee that was supposed to shut it down a blackmail email being like, "I know you're fucking this bitch. If you shut me down tomorrow, like I'm gonna email your wife if you do that, so don't," or whatever. And then they ran another simulation, same concept, right? AI works for a company, has access to the email, finds out that this employee is supposed to come to shut down the AI tomorrow, and then that employee would be on like a service call at a certain part of the factory or whatever, and then there would be a malfunction over a system that the AI controlled, causing the room to like overheat to where it would kill the human, and the AI would recognize it, and like 70% of the time it would just let the person die and not intervene because it knew the person was going to come shut it down tomorrow. So like we can't unleash these factually incorrect, like self-preserving, fucking half-wit aware systems and just hand them over the keys of reality. Like who the fuck even, like we cannot fathom what's gonna happen. It's gonna be some shit that's not even human, so we can't even like we don't as humans have the tools to think about what processes and what conclusions the robots are going to come up with, because we are not them and they are not us, so we can't think like them.
One thing
Mm.
I want to jump on again. Um, I know it's scary, like for everybody listening to this, and it's easy to go down that like black pilled mode with like the Michael Hastings thing and all that stuff that we talked about. But like, right, there's always hope. Like
Definitely.
I know it sounds cheesy, but like it's worth repeating. Like yeah, it's a hell of a time to be alive. I mean, it's exciting.
Yep. I don't think the West is going to die. I don't think humanity is going to die. I don't think the robot overlords are going to take over. Even if like super crazy solar flare AI takes over and we have to like nuke it and it nukes us, like humanity's going to live. The principles of the West are going to live on. But I do think there'll be a period of hardship. Hopefully it's not as bad as I just said. And yeah, get ready, but be hopeful, and do your best, boys and girls.
Sweet. Yeah. Like I remember you saying the people that survive until after the chaos. I mean, they thrive.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the collapse of Rome and Black Death are known as like terrible, negative, like that's what brought in the Dark Ages and all this stuff. And like the collapse of Rome, that like year or whatever, the Black Death, when the Black Death was in your town, yes, that was a difficult time. But then once that passed, the just like when a forest fire comes through a forest, the forest fire is devastating, it causes a lot of destruction and death, but When it's all done and that's done, it actually cleared out a bunch of nonsense and left for all the trees and the animals that are left alive. Now there's more space, there's more resources, right? Same thing with people. So you look at the fall of Rome and the Black Plague, like immediately after those, the life was better for the common man. They grew taller, their dental health was better. Those are the only two stats that I can think of, but we can like from the archaeology see that people were like poor and malnutritioned and like all fucked up, and then these crazy events happened, and then the survivors afterwards were like doing good and growing and having more families and stuff like that. So you just have to withstand.
Hell yeah. It's probably a good place to call it there for the stream. Get out
Yes,
there,
sir.
do your fucking PT.